Divorce isn't easy on anyone in any way, but financially it tends to be especially hard on women. Studies show that after divorce, women experience an average of a 45% decrease in their standard of living, whereas men experience about a 20% decrease. When you're in the process of going through divorce, you may feel too overwhelmed to even think about your financial situation. Plus, with attorney fees and division of property, your financial situation is thrown into a state of uncertainty. But after everything is finalized, as the dust settles, it's crucial to make a plan for your finances as soon as you can. These are the steps I recommend you take so that you can create a future filled with financial peace and security. Number 1, calculate your net wealth. The first thing you need to do is get a snapshot of your current financial situation. I know that this can seem scary, but it's really important. Your financial situation probably looks really different. Your income may be different, you may have lost retirement savings, you may be bearing the full brunt of paying down debt that wasn't even yours to begin with. You've probably paid thousands in legal fees, and it's important to understand exactly where your finances stand post-divorce. You can do this really easily with a free online net worth calculator. I will link to one in the description. The next thing you need to do is set financial goals. Now that you know where you currently stand, you've got the first part that is a helpful thing to have when you have a map. You know where you are. But now it's time to think about, where do you want it to go? What do you want your life to look like in 5, 10, 15 years from now? Do you have debt that you want to be paid off? Do you have retirement savings that you want to build? Your goals may look really different now that your partner is out of the picture. So it's important to think through what you want for yourself. Number 3, create a weekly money ritual. A lot of the women that we work with had passed on the job of managing money to their partners. And if that's you, don't be embarrassed. Not only is it extremely common, but most of us were even raised with the expectation that the guy was going to be the one handling the finances. But the problem is we see a lot of women who have never had to manage money themselves until after they're divorced. And if you don't learn this skill as quickly as you can accidentally end up doing things that are bad for your financial health and lead to more problems down the road. So I don't want you to find yourself in problems that you created because you simply didn't know what you were doing. So whether you're used to it or not, you need to make a habit of managing your finances. Pick a specific time and place every week where you are going to record your weekly income and expenses. And we recommend incorporating ways to make this weekly money ritual pleasurable so that it's something you actually want to do, like lighting candles, playing music you love, or treating yourself to a treat afterwards. If you want some more ideas on what exactly to do during this weekly money ritual, download our free money ritual checklist. I'll leave a link to that in our description. And we've also got a video that walks you step by step on how to create a weekly money ritual. The next thing you're probably going to need to do is adjust your budget. Chances are that the amount of money coming into your bank account every month looks really different after a divorce. That means you also need to rethink the amount of money that's leaving your account every single month. This is your budget. We recommend sticking to the 50-30-20 budget, which is a simple and sustainable approach to budgeting. Essentially, 50% of your income goes towards your needs, 30% goes towards your wants, and you should save 20% for the future. If you want to learn more about this, we've got a full video on the 50-30-20 budget, which I will link to in the description. The next thing to do is to prepare an emergency fund. An emergency fund acts as a safety net in the case of unexpected emergencies, like your car breaking down or a temporary layoff. If you don't have an emergency fund saved up, then get to work on just saving a starter emergency fund. We recommend $1,000. Eventually you'll reach a point where you want to save even more, and you'll have enough money set aside to cover 3 to 6 months of basic expenses. But getting a little buffer saved right away if you currently don't have any is going to bring you a lot of peace of mind. If you want to learn more, we've got a full video on emergency funds, which I will link to in the description. The next thing to do is to start paying down debt. Post-divorce, you may now be fully responsible for paying down debt that was accumulated during your marriage, or you may have built up debt during the divorce process itself. Regardless of how the debt was created, if this is high interest rate debt, meaning the debt is 7% interest or higher, you want to make paying this off a priority. I've got a full video on that too, so I'm going to link to in the description how to pay down debt. But to summarize it, you're going to pay that high interest rate debt first, anything with an interest rate of 7% or above, which is most commonly credit card debt and some car loans. Next, prioritize your retirement savings. It's important to make sure that your divorce does not impact your ability to retire. And if it has, you want to get that back on track as quickly as possible. We've got a full video on how to start saving for retirement if you're over 40, which I'm going to link to in the description. But here's a couple bullet points. 1, start saving dramatically. 2, after you've paid off that high interest rate debt, build up your emergency fund and then max out your retirement contributions. And 3, make sure you're actually investing your savings. Tip number 8 is to look for ways to increase your income. Now, depending on your situation, this may not be a necessary step, but if you're struggling to make ends meet, or you want to make a larger income to maintain your standard of living, or to make up for lost savings, then you'll want to think about ways to increase your income. If you already have a job, this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take on another job, but make sure you've asked for a raise. Make sure you're doing a great job there, and then have a conversation with your boss about how you can be even more valuable and increase your pay. And if you're not sure how to handle that conversation, we got a video on that too. I'll link it down below. If you aren't currently earning any income, start. We've seen too many women who are shell-shocked after the painful proceedings of divorce, who took too long to start earning income and found themselves in a lot of credit card debt as a result. Don't let yourself live off debt. Don't tolerate living off debt. Find a source of income, even if it requires temporarily taking a job that is below your pay grade or your skill set. It's worth it to keep yourself out of a debt hole. Number 9, revisit estate planning. You may need to revisit your will and rethink your beneficiaries. Just make sure you've properly documented any changes you want to make to the passing of your assets. Number 10, ask for help. This is a really difficult time, but you don't have to go through it alone. Don't be afraid to ask for the help that you need, whether it's emotional support from friends or getting clarity on your goals by hiring a financial coach. Divorce is a big change, and it may be hard in a lot of ways, but it doesn't need to be financially disastrous. You can build a financially secure future where you are not stressed or overwhelmed by your money. If you want to learn more about how to build wealth from what seems like a really challenging situation, you should watch our free masterclass on building wealth as a first-time investor. In it, I explain how I went from $40,000 of debt to making money from my investments every single month. And we explain the system that thousands of women plus have used to build wealth that they never thought was possible. I'm thinking of Sharon, who had $72,000 of credit card debt after her divorce, but is now debt-free for the first time in 20 years, and is confident that she's going to be able to retire. I'll leave a link to that class in the description below. If this video is helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We release videos like this every single week, and we're here to support you in taking control of your finances.